The collective energy is winding up to reveal huge soul lessons around power. Get ready for a massive karmic cleanup around power struggles, power abuse, and disempowerment. All of this is in service of a healing rebalance and our reconnection to the divine power within. Tune in with me and buckle up, because the angel messages I'm about to share for this full harvest supermoon, with guidance spanning from September 29th through October 13th, may just be pivotal for your path of spiritual healing and awakening. On September 29th, we have the full harvest moon in the sign of Aries, and it is a supermoon. A supermoon occurs when the moon is closest to the Earth in its orbit, translating to a stronger and more intense lunar pull, not only on the tides and tectonic plates, but also on our psyche and spiritual energy field. This is the fourth full supermoon in a row and is a part of a collective chapter of release and purification that we're all receiving. Purification and release is not always easy. Sometimes it might mean experiencing discomfort as we face what no longer serves us and prepare to purge it from our lives. Facing discomfort requires discipline, focus, and a warrior's courage. And luckily for us, this full harvest supermoon is in the warrior sign of Aries, which is bringing in a very focused, speedy, goal-oriented, driving warrior's energy. By the way, the angels want you to know that we all have that warrior's courage and strength within us, even if we don't realize it. All you have to do is believe in it and willfully access that energy, and the energy of this supermoon is helping to bring it forward. Now, as I mentioned, this is the harvest moon, which comes every September. The September harvest moon, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, represents a time of rebalance between opposing forces: life and death, war and peace, individuals and groups, or love and fear. It is also about harvesting the seeds you sowed into your life all the way back during the March equinox and choosing what to keep and what to discard. With any harvest, you'll get your good apples and your bad apples. So anything you're seeing in your current life that does not serve you, discard. It's time to let go of what doesn't serve you and merge with what does in order to help facilitate this time of reharmonization in your life. Now, this rebalance between opposing forces is also particularly highlighted by current energies of the moon and sun. During a full moon, the moon is always opposite the sun. That's why we can see the full face of the moon reflecting sunlight in the sky. During this moon cycle, the moon is in Aries, which is a sign that represents the individual, the mindset of me. And the sun, however, is in the sign of Libra, which very much represents the collective, the mindset of we. This is where we can start to see some of the biggest themes of this full moon playing out, the theme of rebalancing power. The collective energy is guiding all of us to rebalance our power as individuals with our power as a collective. This means that the universe will be guiding you to face and heal anything out of balance in your relationship with your personal power versus the power of groups, institutions, or communities. The main lesson we're being guided to learn here is that what is truly and authentically good, empowering, and healthy for the individual is good, empowering, and healthy for the community. We are one, and harmony is written into our coding at every level of being, body, mind, and spirit. The human collective has all the potential in the world to harmonize with one another in such a way that brings a much higher level of collective peace and well-being for all. This phase of our collective spiritual growth is all about learning that. And in order to do so, we must purify ourselves of all that has pulled the balance of power out of symmetry in the past. We're about to go into lots more detail about that, but to set this more into perspective, know that this is our last full moon before the powerful eclipse season coming up with the new moon solar eclipse on October 14th. This time is going to be huge for healing karmic power struggles and control issues, as well as claiming our true divine power. This current moon cycle is setting the stage for that, so we're going to start clearing power-related karma right now. During eclipse season, Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth, will be transiting through the sign of Capricorn and will become conjunct the United States Pluto in its natal birth chart. This is the last time it will be there for another 248 years, and it's creating a massive breakdown of the old in order to break through to a whole new system of values. China and Taiwan also have this theme of transformation around power, leadership, and energy shifts. This big global theme of power transformation is going to continue well into 2024 and create big fundamental change. By the way, this full moon is the last non-eclipsed full moon in Aries that we'll see until 2025, since Aries is going to rule the eclipse cycles of 2024. So this courageous, focused, goal-oriented, single-minded spiritual warrior's energy we have coming in during this moon cycle right now is going to give us a taste of what is to come in 2024. With that energetic backdrop in mind, let's dive into the angels' 3 big messages for this full super harvest moon. All 3 of these messages will likely apply to your path in some way, but if you'd like to get a sense of which one is going to be your leading focus or theme, then think of a number in your head right now, 1, 2, or 3. Whichever number you're first drawn to most will represent your leading angel message. Ready? Let's dive in. The angel's first message is all about self-empowerment. As I mentioned earlier, this moon cycle is huge for facing issues of power struggles, control issues, disempowerment, or abuse of power. As we face these issues in our own lives, we're being guided to learn the inner spiritual lessons we need to tap into the infinite divine power within. Your angels want you to know that within you rests the presence of the highest divine creator source. All true power comes only from this divine source. And amazingly, the divine source is pure love. The thing we refer to as love is actually God. We human beings prize love as one of our greatest values and want love with our every desire because there is a fundamental part of us that recognizes that love is what we come from, love is what sustains us, and love is also our ultimate destiny. If true power comes only from the source, then true power is found in love. Love and power are irrevocably linked. Your angels want you to know that they are helping you to restore love in your heart, in your relationship with yourself, and in your relationships with others and this world in order to restore the flow of your divine power. There is a high likelihood that healing will be involved in this restoration of your power. Chiron, representing the wounded healer, is highly active under this full moon. This wounded healer energy is guiding us to find empowerment in our wounds rather than victimhood or disempowerment. We are being guided to learn that though our wounds can bring suffering, they can also bring unique insight, wisdom, and empathy that increase our desire to reach for love and thereby heal those wounds. Love is the greatest healer in the universe, and it is present in all acts of healing. So as you heal your wounds, you're getting in touch with love, and you're therefore also getting in touch with true divine power in ways that you may have never discovered were it not for the wound. So forgive your wounds. Forgive your suffering and their root causes. That forgiveness allows love back in and makes you the conduit of true power. Now, there's one more very important cosmic alignment that is spinning a story of empowerment over this moon cycle, and that is the conjunction between Black Moon Lilith and the dwarf planet Orcus. Black Moon Lilith is the point in the sky where the moon's orbit is farthest from Earth, and Lilith in biblical mythology is the female partner before Eve who would not submit to Adam in the Garden of Eden. Black Moon Lilith symbolizes self-sovereignty and the wild, untamable divine feminine. Now, Orcus was an Etruscan god of the underworld who punished those who break divine law, or in other words, those who upset the natural balance of true divine power. Both of these cosmic bodies have to do with power. Black Moon Lilith is all about self-empowerment, and Orcus is about the rebalance of power by way of karmic learning and justice. anyone or anything attached to power structures that are abusive or self-limiting will be brought down into the underworld, which is symbolic of being brought down into the deep psyche, into the place where deeper truth can be found and understood, and will be guided to discover the true meaning of power. True power empowers everyone and includes natural equality and justice. So this moon cycle, which will again set the tone for all of 2024, will be about finding that true world harmonizing power at both the individual and collective institutional levels. The angel's second message for this harvest moon cycle is all about death, transformation, and rebirth. As we heal the power struggles, power limits, and control issues of the past, we're going to experience death, transformation, and rebirth. The death part is about the death of the old disempowering structures that do not serve us. The transformation part is about transformation of our state of consciousness in order to develop the perspective and ideas necessary to create a new life that includes alignment with true divine power. The rebirth part is about a rebirth both within us and outside of us, meaning that we're getting the chance to rebuild our lives based on love's healing empowerment. This process of death, transformation, and rebirth is getting us in touch with a higher spiritual perspective and higher spiritual power, meaning that spiritual awakening will be on the rise and highly supported during this time. According to the angels, the biggest lesson you're being guided to learn along this trajectory of death, transformation, and rebirth is that you always have a choice between fear and love. When you choose fear, you choose disempowerment. When you choose love, you choose empowerment every single time. If you're ever unclear as to how to make a choice based in love and empowerment, then start simply with self-love. Self-love is a divine compass that will always lead you down the most harmonious and empowering path. Love is the force that unites us, and it always serves all. So authentic self-love will always create what is most loving for everyone. With every choice of love and empowerment that you make, you'll be guided to recreate your life in the image of your life's highest timeline or trajectory of harmony with higher consciousness. This might mean eventually changing your relationships, your job, your location, or making big choices that positively uplift your life's trajectory. Right now, we're experiencing the death of the old world and the rebirth of the new. This means we're naturally feeling driven to break free from what isn't serving that new world that is coming into being. Uranus, the planet of revolution, freedom, and sudden change, is heavily aspected during this full moon cycle. It symbolizes that there is an energy flowing through our collective right now that is saying, "Don't fence me in. I want to be free." This may bring about revolutionary thinking, rebellions against the abuse of power, a radical change in values, brilliant out-of-the-box ideas, and channeling the higher divine consciousness of love. Know that we will have another grand trine in Earth during this moon cycle too, which means that there will be a triangle, which is one of the most structurally strong building shapes lining up between astral bodies in Earth signs. Specifically, Uranus will be in the Earth sign of Taurus, Mercury in the Earth sign of Virgo, and Pluto in the Earth sign of Capricorn. This triangle is about building a new Earth by upgrading our physical world's structures and systems, including your physical body's health, agriculture, government, society, currency, economy, and community. All of that deconstruction and rebuilding for a new Earth is a part of this theme of death, transformation, and rebirth, and it is empowering us. The angel's third message for this moon cycle is all about the rise of divine feminine inspiration. Now, speaking of the new Earth, know that it is more of a frequency and state of consciousness than it is a place. Humanity's home is planet Earth, and upgrading our consciousness is how we're going to live here sustainably, harmoniously, and abundantly for the very, very long-term future. This movement into a higher state of consciousness cannot be achieved without the rise of the goddess, the rise of divine feminine consciousness within. Over many thousands of years, divine feminine consciousness had been in a trend of repression and oppression. This is what happens when humanity goes into fear. We end up losing touch with love, which is our main source of power. Then, as we experience an illusion of lack of power, we begin to create imbalances between the delicate forces of life, including feminine versus masculine or yin versus yang energy and consciousness. For the past several thousand years, we have repressed and oppressed the feminine because we have been afraid of it. Afraid of the raw, untamed power of nature, afraid of the things that are mysterious and bigger than us. So, in a reaction of fear, we overactivated our masculine, our yang energy, the side of us that wants to control everything. When masculine energy is overdominant and fearful in the collective, it can result in a top-down power structure in our societies that thrive off of inequality, oppression, war, and greed, the overconsumption of natural resources in our environment, and the spiritual starvation of the people at a cultural level. We can see examples of all of those things everywhere in our current world. However, we're also at the beginning of a revival of the divine feminine, yin side of consciousness. The goddess is returning, and with her return comes the rebirth of meaning, inspiration, spiritual nourishment, wonderment at the mysteries of the universe, and grassroots up power structures that include the mutual harmony and good of all. In order for this divine feminine inspiration to grow and thrive, it needs to come from love and not fear, and it needs to be balanced with healthy, loving, masculine energy. Masculine and feminine, or yin and yang, are two sides of the same coin. You cannot pick up the coin without picking up both sides. You cannot heal the feminine without healing the masculine. Many of the big spiritual and karmic lessons coming up around power during this moon cycle are centered around deconstructing fear-based masculine consciousness and healing masculine wounds. Remember, the current energy is summoning the wounded healer and the spiritual warrior, symbolized by Chiron and also Aries. This represents the healing of the wounded masculine and the rise of the benevolent masculine protector and provider. This healing creates great safety and support for the divine feminine and helps this side of our consciousness to rise, thrive, and lead the trajectory of our lives in a new and more meaningful direction. With this rise of divine feminine energy, there will be big potential for us to see brilliant new ideas and insights flowing into our minds to help us build a more empathetic world and return to true community and the community level support for which so many souls have been hungering. This energy is all about the return to nature and harmonizing with Mother Earth instead of trying to dominate her. The divine feminine inspiration we're receiving will help us with the mindset and good ideas we need to achieve all of that and more. And the first place we're receiving this rise of divine feminine power and inspiration is at the spiritual levels of our being. We are continually receiving surges of high vibrating spiritual light that are awakening us to higher levels of consciousness based in unconditional love. Meaning we're at the beginning of realizing what unconditional love really means. Remember, love is the nature of true power. To shift our consciousness such that we can truly understand unconditional love is to claim true power and rise into higher harmony, health, meaning, joy, and peace. Trust the inspirations that rise within you this moon cycle, as they are the seeds that will nourish you through this transformation and help you to become a leader in creating this new earth. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I'd be so grateful if you hit the like button so that YouTube's algorithm will help other people find this message too. And I'd also love it if you hit subscribe and the notification bell so that we can stay in touch. Check out the links in the description below to follow me on social media, and where I also included my link to my heart chakra activation meditation for you to really directly feel this special energy coming in. Thank you so much again for your presence here, and know until next time that you are so loved and so very blessed. Bye!